What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bodacious Rant with your ever so loving host, Burnin' Rye. It's crazy how February is already, almost done with. I know, I'm sorry, I keep getting annoying by saying that, but it's just such disbelief where time goes when you're just doing nothing with your life or, watching time go by.
Just going to the theaters every weekend, watching everything.
I mean, not everything. You know me. You know I don't go to for honestly everything, even though I feel like this award season I probably should have gone more, but it was just the winter, and then the fires didn't help like early this year, so it's a lot. But anyways, we're talking about a very interesting movie. So for those of you last year who saw Longlegs and loved it like I did and, Byrne did, this is the same director / actor, Osgood Perkins, who I didn't realize was in several things. The most notable one I can honestly remember his face in was Nope from 2022, which was Jordan Peele's movie with Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya. And yeah, it was just a brief moment in that. But he comes back at us with a movie I didn't expect it to be a horror comedy. I just thought it was going to be a very morbidly dark, like almost maybe a satire of horror, I guess. I couldn't really tell from the trailers. But we're talking about The Monkey, which is based off a Stephen King short story produced by Jordan Peele. And Osgood Perkins, like I said, directed it. And, this is a non-spoiler review, so we're not going to get really into it. Kind of can't, actually, because the trailers actually did a really good job of hiding a lot that did not happen in this movie. So if you do happen to like the video, give us that thumbs up, ring the bell for notifications, and, of course, subscribe. Appreciate you all for tuning in and watching it, especially those subscribing and just growing our ranting community. So this movie stars Theo James, who I personally haven't seen in a whole lot. I realized he was in the Divergent films with Shailene Woodley. He was in Underworld. He was in the Underworld, like, kind of sequel trilogy, I guess, or at least an Underworld Awakening in 2012. That's what I remember him in. And he's also most recently in The Gentleman, which is the Netflix series, not the Matthew McConaughey movie. He's this year we're going to see a lot of actors, or not a lot, but a few this upcoming season. We're going to see some actors play dual roles. And that's the situation here where Theo James plays twin brothers who discover their dad's, toy monkey, essentially, after their dad leaves them. And then little do they know that when you twist this toy and it does its little drums and stuff, somebody dies. You don't know who. It's just freakish accidents. Like, it's a very good mix of Final Destination and I can't really think about it. I had it in my head when you and I saw it, Burn, but
I guess any not necessarily possession movies, but any movies with any haunted objects, I guess you can think of things like probably Annabelle or things like that, where it's just there's a certain either toy or item that seems to be the cause of a lot of issues that go on in the movie.
Yeah, I would say the Final Destination and The Conjuring and even Shaun of the Dead to a certain extent. It's kind of because it's got Shaun of the Dead humor, but the way the deaths happen in this movie are very Final Destination-esque. And then Conjuring, like Bernie said, where it's just, the whole possession of an object. So, yeah. And then also it has a lot of really good either up-and-coming actors or actors who are kind of in there. Like, the biggest one I didn't realize was in it was Tatiana Maslany, who I loved her in She-Hulk and Parks and Rec for the brief time she was on there. Haven't really seen too much of her movies or anything, unfortunately. But we also got Sarah Levy, who's Eugene Levy, daughter, and Daniel Levy's sister from Schitt's Creek. And Osgood Perkins is in it as well. And I don't want to spoil too much more of who else is in it because it was a nice surprise. So, yeah, like I said, going into this, I thought it was going to be a very dark movie, or kind of a depressing. And being a movie about so many people dying horribly, it actually was really funny, and it actually kind of has a positive message, which you don't really expect with a horror movie like this. So I actually really enjoyed it. I think it's going to be a sleeper hit of this year. Wouldn't be surprised if it's on my top 10 later this year, but time will tell. Bern, what did you think about this one?
Yeah, coming into this one, it was a little bit hard to tell what kind of movie we were going to get based off of the trailers, and hearing that this was going to be Osgood Perkins' follow up to Longlegs, which, like you, I really enjoyed from last year. It was interesting to see like what direction he would take after that movie, and this movie, based for I mean for me, wasn't at all what I expected his follow up would be. It's almost in complete opposite to Longlegs in terms of tone and in terms of execution of how this movie plays out, where that movie is very serious, like morbidly serious, and there are some light moments, but basically that movie is just really dark and atmospheric in that sense, where it just feels oppressive. Where this one, it certainly is a dark story, but there's a satire and there's a comedy to it that was a real surprise to me, which I didn't really go in expecting at all. I'm not familiar with the short story. I don't know if it reads in this particular way, but the way that it executed, it really worked for me. And I feel like this is going to be one of those movies that will work or won't work for a lot of people based on that fact, with the way that the comedy plays out and how darkly comedic it is. It when it comes to horror and when it comes to comedy, it's very much based on people's tastes, and this one was right up my alley for some reason. I really enjoyed myself. It's very rare that you find yourself laughing at the bad things that happen on screen in movies. But the way that they played it out here, it really worked for me, and I was really surprised by it, especially again coming off of Longlegs, which didn't have that element to it. But it did so in the fact that on the technical aspects of it, it was still really well put together, just like Longlegs was. It was really well shot. I felt the pacing was really good. I felt the timing of all the kills and the comedic beats really worked for me. So Osgood Perkins, man, he just continues to prove to be a very interesting director, and one that I'm definitely going to keep my eye on going forward. Being new to his movies with Longlegs, I know he's done other things in the past that don't seem to be that at this tone at all. They seem to be much more on the Longlegs level, but I think it shows that when you have that sort of feel and that sense as a creative when it comes to horror and comedy, as we've been seeing a lot lately with a lot of directors that sort of cross that genre. If they work on well in one side, it seems like they can work really well on the other side, and it's cool that it continues to be the case with his movies.
Yeah, honestly, we're definitely in the era. Like last year was, I would definitely say more serious horror. But I think now this year we're gonna have a bit of horror comedy or thriller comedies, kind of like Hard Eyes, Companion. Um, that's kind of like the only horror that's come out so far this year. But yeah, and I'm honestly okay with it if you can find that line of both, the tense and scary part, but blended with the comedy. And Osgood Perkins dialed that in really well, because there were some moments that was just like, holy shit, I can't believe we just like, how do you react to a certain situation, certain death, because there were some gnarly ones that Theo James really plays off. And I haven't really seen him in anything funny, but he was funny in this one, so I'm like, dude, keep doing more comedy. And Osgood Perkins himself too, for the brief moment he's in this, he delivered some comedy too. So I didn't expect to like it this much, but the monkey was definitely the creepiest looking toy I've seen in a while. Creepier than Annabelle for sure, and Annabelle's a really creepy doll from those movies. But with everything being said, it could have been a little bit scarier. I feel like I think I would say I would want it to be scary. I don't know actually where they could have done it, but other than that, I think it worked fine. I'm gonna give this movie a hard 4 out of 5. I would definitely go see it again. I don't think it's playing Dolby or IMAX or anything like that. I don't think it was even filmed with that kind of stuff. So definitely an easy watch if you're a little tight on the budget right now. Just go on a $5 Tuesday. But I think it's one of those movies that's worth the Friday night. So definitely go check it out. 4 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, this was a very fun surprise for me. Really enjoyed it for what it was. Again, not what I expected at all, and that was it's it's very refreshing to be surprised in a movie theater nowadays, especially with all the trailers giving away everything beforehand. So yeah, I really had a great time with this movie. Like you mentioned, Theo James nails that comedic sensibilities really well. Tatiana Maslany is great in everything she's in. Hopefully, we'll see more of her, and the rest of the cast do a really solid job of nailing that tone. It feels like this is one of those movies that needs everyone and every single element of production to really make something like this work, and it really worked for me. But like I said, it's going to be one of those that's not for everyone, whether it be on the gory side of things or whether it be on the comedic side of things. It might not be to your taste, but it definitely was for me. It's going to be a 4 out of 5 for me as well.
Yeah, and like I think you made a great point that every actor, no matter how big of a role they had, small of a role, um, they all really sold this movie because you definitely, it's almost like its own little world, and you get sucked up into it really well. So yeah, I'm glad we both liked it and we both agreed on their ranting because Bern and I have our fair share of disagreements, but it's all good fun. For those of you who did happen to catch it this last weekend, please let us know what you thought. Love to get your opinions on it. See if there's anyone that did not like it as much as we did, but let us know. But
And also, just very quickly, if you did really enjoy this movie, make sure to not to make the same mistake you and I did and stay after the credits, because there's apparently a teaser for his next movie, which is also starring Tatiana Maslany. So we didn't get to see that, but it's apparently out there. So if you did enjoy that, stay unlike us.
Damn it. Well, I'm going to go see it again. That's just a perfect excuse to go watch again. I will stay for the credits next time. So, I should have told you when we left. Where were you on that one? But it's fine. Until next time, everyone, just stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.